Hi, welcome to this episode of From the Syllabus. I am Leigh Hall, PhD, a professor in higher education. Today we're going to be talking about question of the day. Now this is our final video on question of the day. The first video gave an overview of what question of the day is, how I find it beneficial, why I use it. The second video introduced you to 2 techniques for implementing question of the day, and in this final video will introduce you to 2 more techniques, and I will link to those 2 videos in the notes. If you have any questions, comments, etc., you want to reach me, you can find me at leahall39@gmail.com. And please check out my blog where I discuss issues of teaching in higher education at leahall.wordpress.com. All right, so we're just going to dive right into this for technique number 3 with question of the day. So here is an example of something that I do with my students. I have them get in groups, again, 4 to 5 people, letting them self-select in this case, although you could, of course, assign them. And then we've got our spreadsheet with all of our questions. So I ask them to pick any question that they want. Doesn't matter who wrote it. Doesn't matter if the person who wrote it's in the group or not. Could be just anything that they want to talk about more. And then I give them 2 to 3 minutes to work on their own in silence, to take notes, write down things, organize their thoughts and ideas around the question. And then each person in the group has up to 3 minutes to share their thoughts. So up to 3 minutes, right? So you could take 30 seconds, you could take 2 minutes, you could take the full 3 minutes. But the thing is that the idea here is everybody gets a chance to speak, okay? So when I'm talking, I have up to 3 minutes, and you might want to have somebody keep time. But I found students to be pretty good, and most people don't usually take the full 3 minutes. But when someone's talking, no one else can speak. You can't ask a question. As a listener, if I don't understand something, then I just don't understand something. If I'm interested and want to talk about something more, I just have to wait. The idea is that as the speaker, you really get this opportunity to share whatever it is that you have to say. And we're going to sit there as your audience and listen to you. Everyone in the group gets to do this, okay? And then after everybody has spoken, the floor opens up, and whoever wants to talk can talk, okay? Now, the key here is that when the floor opens up, anyone can speak. But when you talk, you can only talk about or ask questions about ideas spoken about by others. So if I am talking, I can't go on and on and on about the things that I was saying earlier. I have to ask someone else in the group a question, right? So this is where I can ask about clarification. I can, if something that somebody said really interested me, right? This is the time when I get them to talk about that more. I have to talk about the ideas of others, all right? And then that can take, again, about 5 to 10 minutes for them to have that discussion in number 5 there. And then they need to summarize the key ideas and be prepared to share out. What question did they identify and what came from that discussion? All right, and then technique number 4. So this one, you pretty much every week they're putting a question up. But this one time, I do like to ask them to not put a question up, okay? And so what I do is I ask them instead on the spreadsheet to put a quote from the reading with the page number, something they found interesting. It doesn't even have to be the full quote. It could just be the beginning of it, because you'll see, we'll write it out in class later. They can put keywords or phrases that they think are important that they want to talk about more. They can put down an issue that they want to discuss more, all right? So not a question, that's okay. Now, in class, what I do is I give everybody index cards. All the index cards have numbers on them. If there's 20 students in class, then 1 through 20, right? On the card, they write down whatever they put on the spreadsheet, okay? Although I do say, if you come to class and you don't like what you put on the spreadsheet and you have a much more interesting idea, that's okay. They still get credit for what they put on the spreadsheet because they did do that work in advance. But if they come to class and they decide, I don't really like what I wrote, I have a better idea, I'd much rather they go with that. And then on the card, on the front, on the back, wherever, they make notes about their idea on the card. Now, like I said, each card has a number on it. And so I use a random number generator and we pull numbers, right? And so if I pull number 10 and you're number 10, then you introduce the question to us and you lead a short discussion on it if your number has been pulled. And we don't do more than 5 minutes of a short discussion, okay? And then we go on to somebody else. And so what happens is you've got this issue that you have with the text, you've done some thinking about it, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about it. Now, of course, we won't have time. If there's 20 students, we won't have time to do all 20, right? But I do remind students, this is not a waste of your time, because having written down, a quote or issues or whatever, and then taking some notes on your card, because this is all coming from the same set of readings, those ideas are going to feed into our discussion in some way, even if we don't explicitly talk about what you chose. All right, so those are two techniques that you can use with question of the day, or really to frame lots of different discussions. You don't have to use them with question of the day. Check out the other two videos. Like I said, I'll put a link in the notes, and I would love to have your comments, thoughts on what you think about these techniques. Please feel free to share those ideas. Would love to hear about other discussion techniques that you've used. Please leave those in the comment section below. And also, please consider subscribing to this channel where I talk about issues in higher education related to teaching and learning and share different techniques for teaching in higher ed.